everyone, I hope you all are doing good. So in my previous videos, I've already introduced the concept of torts to you guys. इसके अलावा हमने कुछ specific offenses भी कर लिए हैं torts में, right? जिसमें defamation था, negligence था, right? So today we are going to understand the concept of liability. कि liability क्या होती है and torts में किस किस तरह की liability होती है. This is what we are trying to understand now, right? So let's just start. So first thing first, what is the meaning of liability? हम सबसे पहले ये समझेंगे एंड हम ये समझेंगे कि liability का कॉन्सेप्ट हमें किस किस तरह से torts में mentioned है. So concept of liability in torts means the legal responsibility of a person for committing a wrongful act that causes harm to another. ठीक है, तो अगर आप किसी को हार्म कर रहे हो तो आपकी क्या रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है, दैट इज व्हाट लायबिलिटी इज ऑल अबाउट इन टॉट, राइट? फॉर एग्जाम्पल, इफ ए ड्राइव्स रैशली एंड इंजर्स बी, ए इज लायबल टू कॉम्पनसेट बी, ऑफ कोर्स, फॉर द इंजरीज दैट बी माइट हैव सफर्ड फ्रॉम. Then the idea is that where there is a wrong, there must be a remedy, or the maxiom ubius ibi remedium says the same. Right? So ubius ibi remedium, it basically says that जहाँ पे एक wrong होगा वहाँ पे एक remedy भी होगी. Right? I hope this is clear. And based on this principle, our liabilities are determined. Right? Now, the types of liability. Types of liability का मतलब किस तरह की liability होती है. First thing first is fault-based liability. Fault-based liability तब arise होती है when harm is caused due to negligence, nuisance or defamation. जहाँ पे आपने कुछ गलत किया है, that is fault-based liability, right? आपकी carelessness की वजह से किसी और को injuries हुई, तो वो आपकी fault-based liability है, right? Then we have something known as strict liability. Strict liability का concept अभी तक हमने नहीं समझा है. एब्सोल्यूट लायबिलिटी का कॉन्सेप्ट अभी तक हमने नहीं समझा है, तो वील कीप दिस फॉर लेटर एंड हम इसको इन डिटेल समझेंगे आज की क्लास में, राइट? लेट्स जस्ट स्टार्ट विद द फर्स्ट टाइप ऑफ लायबिलिटी व्हिच इज वाइकेरियस लायबिलिटी. ठीक है, सो इट इज वाइकेरियस लायबिलिटी. अब व्हाट इज वाइकेरियस लायबिलिटी एंड व्हाट आर द एलिमेंट्स ऑफ वाइकेरियस लायबिलिटी? नाउ आई विल गिव यू अ केस लॉ हियर. दिस इज ए, ही इज अ बस ड्राइवर. Right? He is a bus driver. Now, while this bus driver was coming back after dropping the kids, right? वो स्कूल आ रहा था वापस. He is a school bus driver, right? वो स्कूल बस को वापस लेके आ रहा था after his first shift, and जब वो वापस लेके आ रहा था, उसने बैक करते हुए एक बच्चे को अपनी बस के नीचे कुचल दिया. ठीक है? Now, he was doing this while he was in the course of employment, right? Course of employment का मतलब जो उसको काम दिया गया है वो करके वापस आ रहा था, right? And he was parking the bus in the school premises. तब उसने एक बच्चे को कुचल दिया. Can the school be held liable for the bus driver? Yes or no? I want your comments in the comment section. I would want to know कि क्या आपको वाइकेरियस लायबिलिटी का कॉन्सेप्ट समझ आया है या नहीं. दिस इज माई क्वेश्चन एंड इसकी एक्सप्लेनेशन आप समझोगे फ्रॉम द एलिमेंट्स एंड व्हाट आई विल एक्सप्लेन यू फ्रॉम वाइकेरियस लायबिलिटी. तो रिलेशनशिप होना बहुत जरूरी है वाइकेरियस लायबिलिटी में. किस तरह का रिलेशनशिप? स्कूल और बस ड्राइवर में कौन सा रिलेशनशिप है? मास्टर और सर्वेंट का, राइट? मास्टर एंड सर्वेंट रिलेशनशिप है यहाँ पे. तो रिलेशनशिप होना बहुत जरूरी है वाइकेरियस लायबिलिटी में. वाइकेरियस लायबिलिटी का मतलब ही यही होता है जब किसी और के एक्ट्स के लिए यू आर हेल्ड रिस्पॉन्सिबल, राइट? नाउ, फॉर अप्लाइंग वाइकेरियस लायबिलिटी, इट इज एसेंशियल दैट बिटवीन द पार्टीज which are involved must have a recognized relationship. Now, what kind of a relationship should it be? It can either be an employer and an employee relationship, a master and a servant relationship, a principal and an agent relationship, or even partnership in that case, right? So these four relationships, if they are established, then vicarious liability ka concept can be applied on them, right? Now, This element establishes the foundation of imposing vicarious liability. The relationships refer a level of control or authority over the actions of the subordinate party. The law says that the employer should be held accountable for the actions of their employees, right? That the employers should be held liable for the actions of their employees, right? Now, next thing, what is the scope of employment? अभी मैंने बोला कि within the scope of employment होना चाहिए वो काम. What do we mean by scope of employment? ये समझना हमारे लिए जरूरी है. तो for scope of employment we need to understand that in order to apply vicarious liability, scope of employment is an essential, right? So here the employee or the agent must be acting within the scope of their employment or agency when the wrongful act happened, right? Now, this means that their actions should relate directly to their job duties and responsibilities. कि जो उन्होंने काम किया है should relate directly to the work that they have been assigned, right? ये समझ आ गया? For determining whether the act falls under the scope of employment, it involves the estimate whether the employee was performing tasks related to their job or not, and whether actions were motivated by the interests of the employer or not. Right? Now, here I have a question in the same question here. ये A है, ये B है. A is the driver and B is the conductor. Now, conductor का काम सिर्फ इतना है that he has to see the kids and he has to help the driver out जब जरूरत हो, right? But he cannot drive the vehicle. अब ड्राइवर एक दिन बहुत थक गया, वापस आते आते उसने बी को कहा यू ड्राइव, आपको ड्राइव करनी आती है, आप ड्राइव करो बस, राइट? सो बी ने बस पकड़ ली एंड बी स्टार्टेड ड्राइविंग. While he was coming back to the school and while he was just moving the bus back, जब वो रिवर्स कर रहा था बस को, तब एक छोटा सा बच्चा जो स्कूल से बाहर आ रहा था वो उसको बस ने कुचल दिया, right? And the kid died on the spot. Now, for the actions of B, can the school be held liable? And if not, then on which grounds? See, the school cannot be held liable why? Because he was doing something which was out of his scope of employment, right? I hope this is clear. Now, negligence or wrongful act. Negligence या wrongful act क्या होता है? Negligence हम सबको पता है, हम already कर चुके हैं. जिसको negligence नहीं पता, वो please पिछली वीडियो देखे and उसमें से सीखे negligence, right? Now, what is negligence? Third essential element is that employer or agent must have committed the negligence of wrongful act. This refers to both intentional torts such as assault and negligent action like causing an accident through carelessness. This element is important because this element establishes the basis of liability. Even if the employee acted without the intention to cause harm, but due to his or her negligent action, a party suffered the harm. Right? So here we need to understand कि कोई ना कोई negligent act या कोई ना कोई wrongful act हुआ होना चाहिए, बस को negligently reverse करना, right? So ये जो term है negligent, उसकी वजह से liability बनती है, right? Now, harm or damage. If because of the employee's action, the third party must directly suffer harm or injury. ठीक है, किसी भी तरह का हार्म हो सकता है वो. लेट्स से इस केस में वो बच्चा ना होता, उसकी जगह पे एक वॉल होती ऑफ अ रेजिडेंशियल रेजिडेंस ऑफ अ रेजिडेंस, राइट? एंड वो वॉल जो है वो टूट जाती बैक करते करते, तो क्या स्कूल लायबल होता? इन केस ऑफ द ड्राइवर यस, बट इन केस ऑफ द कंडक्टर नो, राइट? नाउ, इट इज नॉट एसेंशियल दैट अ हार्म इज फिजिकल डैमेज और इंजरी. Can be to the property that is damaged, emotional distress or financial loss as well. So one thing which you need to remember here is कि emotional distress जो है, even that is included under damage here, right? Now, This element refers when, because of the wrongful act, the injury suffered by the victim, there must be a clear fundamental link that because of the employee's action, the third party suffered the harm. Right? So this is something which we need to remember while we are discussing the fault of the person. Right? Now, vicarious liability under tort of law refers to situation where someone is held responsible for the actions or omissions of the other person. In the field of torts, a person is liable for his own act only. Right? अब कौन सी conditions है जहां पे the person will be liable for somebody else's conduct? Liability of a principal for the tort of his agent, liability of a partner for each other's torts, liability of a master for the tort of his servant, and lastly liability of the state or liability of the administration. Right? I hope this is clear. Now moving ahead, see, can you see this maxiom, quid facet per se alium facet per se? So this basically says that act of an agent is the act of the principal where one is authorized another to commit a tort. Right? So this is what it is. ये देखा जाता है कि अगर एजेंट ने कुछ करा है, so it is supposed that it is the master himself who has done that thing, right? Or the principal himself who has done that tort. So the liability for that will not only be of the person who has committed but also who authorized it. Right? I hope this is clear. अब एक डॉक्ट्रीन है जो हमें याद रखना है, दैट इज रिस्पोंडेंट सुपीरियर. What is this maxiom and what does this say? It says that master is in the same position as if he had done the act himself. तो ये मैक्सियम है जिसके बेसिस पे वाइकेरियस लाइबिलिटी का कॉन्सेप्ट आया था, विच इज रिस्पोंडेंट सुपीरियर, कि वी ऑलवेज कंसिडर that a person who has done an act through his agent is supposed to have done that act on his own. Right? Now there are two essentials for liability of masters. Number one, the tort was committed by the servant. Second, the servant committed the tort in the course of his employment. Again, now अब ये चार हमें चीजें समझनी पड़ेंगी, which is the principal can only be made liable for the act of his agent when the four conditions were made. Number one, agent was employed to perform that particular type of act. For example, यहाँ पे the driver of the bus was appointed to drive the bus. Right? He was employed to drive the bus. Right? Secondly, agent was inspired by an intent of the principal. Right? So the principal wanted him to go and drop the kids, right? To go and drop the students. Next, agent method could have been anticipated by the principal. जहाँ पे जिस तरीके से वो ड्राइव करता है बस, वो ऑलरेडी प्रिंसिपल को पता था. That is why he gave the bus to the driver, right? Then, agent act occurred at an unauthorized place and during the authorized time of the employment. ठीक है? Then, क्योंकि बस को वापस से आके पार्क कहाँ करना था? स्कूल में पार्क करना था. Moreover, it is the employer who told him कि आपको यहीं पे आके बस पार्क करना है. Next, partner in a partnership firm. अब एक चीज याद रखना, पार्टनर्स के लिए, पार्टनरशिप फर्म में अगर आप 4 पार्टनर्स हो तो क्या वहां पे वाइकेरियस लाइबिलिटी का कॉन्सेप्ट लगेगा? पार्टनर्स इन अ पार्टनरशिप फर्म, रिलेशनशिप्स एज बिटवीन द पार्टनर एंड दैट ऑफ द प्रिंसिपल एंड एजेंट. ठीक है? तो एक चीज याद रखो कि इवन इन द केस ऑफ पार्टनर्स कैन बी हेल्ड वाइकेरियसली लायबल. राइट? नाउ मूविंग अहेड टू द डिफेंसेस व्हिच आर देयर फॉर वाइकेरियस लायबिलिटी. नंबर 1 डिफेंस इज इंडिपेंडेंट कॉन्ट्रैक्टर. नाउ इंडिपेंडेंट कॉन्ट्रैक्टर हमें समझ आ गया कि एक डिफेंस है, बट इंडिपेंडेंट कॉन्ट्रैक्टर होता कौन है? इंडिपेंडेंट कॉन्ट्रैक्टर इज अ पर्सन हु इज एम्प्लॉयड by the corporation which refers as an employer. The employer may not be held vicariously liable if the person who committed the wrongdoing is classified as an independent contractor. Independent contractors operated independently and the employer typically has less control over their work and their methods and actions as compared to control what they have over their employee. This difference is important because employers are generally only liable for the actions of the employees who work under their employer's direct control, right? Let's say you have asked a firm of architects or builders to make a house for you. क्या वो आपके सर्वेंट्स हो गए यहाँ पे? क्या वो आपके एम्प्लॉयज हो गए? नहीं, वो इंडिपेंडेंट कॉन्ट्रैक्टर्स हैं. आप उनको नहीं बता सकते कि आप ऐसे ये काम करो, आप ऐसे कंस्ट्रक्ट करो. हाँ, यू कैन गिव देम द डिजाइन, यू कैन ऑलवेज से कि हमें ऐसा डिजाइन चाहिए, बट आप उनको इंस्ट्रक्ट नहीं करते हो, राइट? सो दे आर इंडिपेंडेंट कॉन्ट्रैक्टर्स, right? I hope that is clear. Now, lack of control. So for applying the vicarious liability, the employer must have sufficient control over the actions of the employees. ठीक है? और जहां पे sufficient control नहीं होगा, वहां पे vicarious liability का concept apply नहीं होता है, right? So this defense focuses on the nature of employment relationship and the degree of oversight the employer had over the employee's actions. Next is assumption of risk. Assumption of risk का क्या मतलब है? Assumption of risk means that it assumes that the injured party knowingly and voluntarily participated in the risk associated with employee's actions. ठीक है? Then, if the injured party understood the risk which are involved and even then accepted them, then they may be barred from recovery. ठीक है? एक ना कॉन्सेप्ट होता है which is somewhat related to this, which is voluntary non-fit injuria, right? So this defense is often relevant in cases involving recreational activities or hazardous environments where the participants are aware of the potential dangers. और इसके एक क्लासिक एग्जाम्पल है, आप सब फेयर्स में जाते हो, फेयर्स में नहीं भी जाते तो अम्यूजमेंट पार्क्स में तो सब जाते होंगे, राइट? एंड whenever you go on such deadly rides, for example some roller coaster या फिर कोई ऐसा राइड जिसमें there is a risk involved, right? तो वो आपसे एक ना एडवाइस वो साइन करवाते हैं, राइट? तो उसमें आप अगर सिग्नेचर कर रहे हो या इवन इन दैट केस आप साइन नहीं भी कर रहे हो, कुछ जगह पे नहीं भी करवाते, एंड यू आर स्टिल बाइंग द टिकट एंड गोइंग ऑन द राइड, सो इट इज क्लियर इनफ दैट यू आर रेडी टू फेस द रिस्क, राइट? एंड फिर अगर आपको कोई इंजरी होती है, nobody can be held liable, right? I hope that is clear. Now, unauthorized acts. Unauthorized acts कौन से होते हैं? Which are out of your course of employment or something which the employee has not authorized to you, right? So if without the authority of the employer, the employee acts outside the scope of his employment, the employer may not be held liable. For example, if an employee engages in illegal and unauthorized activities which are not related to their job and duties, the employer can argue that it should not be held responsible for the actions of that employee, right? जैसे अभी इस केस में क्या हुआ, कंडक्टर का काम था just to assist the driver and to take care of the kids, but उसने खुद ड्राइव करा, which has made it out of his employment, जिसकी वजह से the school will not be held liable, right? Because it was an unauthorized act on his part, right? I hope this is clear to everyone. अब सबको ये क्लियर हो गया है कि वाइकेरियस लाइबिलिटी क्या होता है, वाइकेरियस लाइबिलिटी के क्या एसेंशियल्स हैं, एंड वाइकेरियस लाइबिलिटी में कौन कौन इंक्लूड होता है एंड किस किस तरह के एक्शन इंक्लूड होते हैं. आई होप दिस इज क्लियर. अगर कोई डाउट है, यू कैन ऑलवेज कॉमेंट डाउन इन द कॉमेंट सेक्शन बिलो एंड यू कैन आस्क मी योर डाउट्स, राइट? नाउ we'll be moving ahead and we'll be moving ahead to strict liability. अब the word strict itself it's somewhat clear to us, right? Strict का मतलब होता है जहां पे शायद लूप होल्स ना हो, right? वही हमें लगता है कि strict होता है, right? Let's just see what is strict liability. A party or a person held accountable for their actions without their requiring the proof of their fault, negligence or intent. In some cases of strict liability, the defendant held responsible for the damages caused even if all the reasonable precautions were taken by the defendant or if the defendant acted in good faith. According to this doctrine, once the harmful act happens and it causes damage, the defendant can be held liable for the damage even if the defendant were not negligent or did not intend to cause any harm. तो वो cases जहाँ पे even though you did not do anything, still you are held liable, right? Just because something has happened, that is known as strict liability, right? अभी हम इसको in detail देखते हैं. Strict liability is applied in a situation which involves inherently dangerous activity or in a situation where public safety is at priority basis, such as handling of hazardous material or keeping dangerous animals, etc. Now, I have an example. This is A, right? This person has a pit bull, and that too a very dangerous pit bull at his place. Right? But he always claims that this pit bull is very friendly and he is very friendly with everyone. ये किसी को काटेगा नहीं, किसी को कुछ कहेगा नहीं. Right? So once there was this old lady who was walking in the street, and when she came in front of this pit bull's house, this pit bull was released. This pit bull, he came out of the house just because the door was unlocked. This pit bull came out of the house and he ate this woman's leg, right, causing her injuries, right? Now this woman went to the police station and she filed a suit against A, claiming that he should be strictly liable for what his dog has done. So can A be held liable in this case? Yes, A will be held liable in this case. Why? Because first thing first, there was an inherently dangerous activity or an inherently dangerous substance which was kept at his place. That is a dog, right? Which is so dangerous that it shouldn't have been kept at his place, right? Secondly, ये जो dog है, it somewhere or the other is unsafe for the public, right? And ये जो dog था वो घर से निकल गया. That is release of a dangerous substance. Right? Hence, it will be a fit case of strict liability in this case. Right? Though the owner of the dog never knew that he'll go and he'll bite that woman, but still, इस case में क्या होगा? A, that is the owner, will be held liable. I hope that is clear. Now, moving ahead to the elements of strict liability. So the first element that we have is risk or hazard involved. Risky or hazardous activity. For applying strict liability, the first essential element is that the person must involve in dangerous or hazardous activity. This means these activities lead to significant danger to others even when all the reasonable precautions were taken. For example, the use of explosives and mines, keeping wild animals, or the handling of toxic chemicals. Because these activities carry a high risk of danger to the public, the law imposes strict liability to ensure that those engaged in them are fully accountable for any reasonable damage. I hope this is clear. Now moving ahead to injury. What do we mean by injury? For applying the strict liability, the second essential element is that there must be an injury caused to a party, and the injured party must first prove that they suffered from the actual harm or damage. So this injury can be physical, emotional or financial loss. ठीक है? So physical, emotional या financial loss अगर हुआ है, then you can claim that हम लोग injured हुए हैं and the person should be held liable in this case. This means that the injured party must demonstrate what they experienced is in some kind of damage or loss because of the defendant's action. For example, a consumer is harmed because of the defective product, then the consumer needs to show the evidence for harm such as medical reports or repair costs, etc. Right? So this is what is essential. Next is causation. What do we mean by causation? So the third essential element for applying strict liability is that the defendant's action directly caused the injury to the party, and injured party must prove that because of defendant's action, injury was caused. Right? Now, this element focused on the link between the harmful activity and the injured party. इसका एक example दिया हुआ है. If a person is harmed by a dangerous chemical leak from a factory, they must demonstrate that it was the specific leak that caused their injury. ठीक है, तो let's say कि एक फैक्ट्री से एक बहुत dangerous chemical release हुआ, right? And the person was unaffected by it. But after 2 or 3 days, just because he ate something that reacted with that chemical still in his body, he got injuries or his health started deteriorating. So here he cannot say कि ये direct cause है because he had already sustained that chemical. उसकी तबीयत खराब हुई just because of a reaction from what he ate when that chemical was within his body, right? So that is why यहाँ पे डायरेक्ट कॉज जब तक नहीं होगा तब तक आप ये नहीं कह सकते कि स्ट्रिक्ट लायबिलिटी बनती है, राइट? देन no intent or negligence. The last essential element for applying strict liability is that the injured party does not require to prove, very important, injured party does not require to prove that the defendant acted with intention to harm, that the defendant was negligent. Right? So this is what makes strict liability different from other tort because it does not focus on defendant's state of mind or behavior while during the harm occurred, rather than it focuses on the harm that caused by the activity. So in strict liability, it is said that as long as the injury and causation are proven, the defendant held liable, and this does not matter what is the intention of the defendant. Right? I hope this is clear. कि आपको यहाँ पे नेग्लिजेंस प्रूफ करने की जरूरत नहीं है, आपको यहाँ पे इंटेंट प्रूफ करने की जरूरत नहीं है अगर आपको इंजरी हुई है बिकॉज ऑफ सम हार्मफुल एक्ट बाय द डिफेंडेंट, तो यहाँ पे ही विल बी हेल्ड लायबल, राइट? यहाँ पे एक केस लॉ है रेलैंड्स वर्सेस फ्लेचर एंड इट इज अ लैंडमार्क केस लॉ, राइट? व्हाट हैपेंड इन दिस केस वाज दैट फ्लेचर, हु वाज द defendant got a reservoir constructed on his land to store water. The contractors failed to seal the old disguised mine shafts beneath the reservoir. ठीक है? Then water was filled and it burst through the shafts and flooded Rayland's working coal mine adjoining land. ये Rayland की land है, right? And this is Fletcher's की land. राइट? अब फ्लेचर की लैंड में उसने अपने लिए एक वाटर रिजर्वायर बनाया and here was a shaft is just a plug sort of a thing, just a gate sort of a thing, and adjoining that gate was the land of R, which was a coal mine. This shaft was ill-built, right, due to which when water was filled in it, the shaft broke down and all the water just seeped into the coal mines. ठीक है, अब कोल माइंस तो खराब होगी पानी की वजह से, ड्यू टू विच Rayland filed a suit against Fletcher, right, for strict liability because there is a release of something. Right now, what was held in this case? The House of Lords held Rayland's liable and laid down the principle of rule of strict liability, stating that a person who for his own purpose brings onto his land and keeps anything likely to cause mischief if it escapes is liable for all the damage naturally resulting from its escape. ठीक है? I hope that is clear. So it is Rayland versus Fletcher which brought the concept of strict liability into light. Right? I hope that is clear to everyone. Now, strict liability और absolute liability में क्या difference होता है? अब सारे सोचोगे कि मैम एकदम से absolute liability आपको कहाँ से याद आया? See, strict liability basically means कि वो liability जहाँ पे हमारे पास कुछ exceptions होते हैं. Absolute liability में हमारे पास कोई exceptions नहीं है, right? Let's see what kind of exceptions are there in strict liability. First thing, plaintiff's own fault. Let's say वो आंटी वाला केस लेते हैं. A has a dog and auntie is a dog lover. So what she does is वो उसके घर जाती है and इस dog को खुद release कर देती है. This dog was tied and ये आंटी आके इस dog को release कर देती है, due to which the dog bites the auntie and now auntie sues the owner of the dog. क्या यहाँ पे क्लेम मिल सकता है आंटी को? नहीं मिल सकता ऑफ स्ट्रिक्ट लाइबिलिटी. Why? Because it is the plaintiff's own fault, right? Secondly, act of God. Act of God को हम बोलते हैं vis major, right? Vis major. Let's say Rayland versus Fletcher के केस में ये जो शाफ्ट था ये इसलिए टूटा, इट वॉज वेरी स्ट्रॉन्ग. ये सिर्फ इसलिए टूटा बिकॉज एक अर्थक्वेक आया जिसकी वजह से ये शाफ्ट गिर गया. क्या यहाँ पे फिर भी लाइबिलिटी बनती थी रेलैंड की या नहीं, फ्लेचर की या नहीं? नहीं बनती थी. वाई? बिकॉज इट वॉज एन एक्ट ऑफ गॉड ड्यू टू विच certain thing has happened and it was not the negligent conduct of the defendant, right? Next is consent of the plaintiff. Consent of the plaintiff का क्या मतलब है? जहां पे before constructing this water reservoir, Fletcher had already asked Rayland, his neighbor, कि आपका coal mine है, are you fine with the fact कि मैं आपके adjoining land में water reservoir बना लूं? अगर यहाँ पे Rayland कहता कि ठीक है अब बना लो, right? तो यहाँ पे Rayland would not have been able to sue Fletcher for strict liability. Next, act of a third party. Let's say अब ये डॉग वाला केस, लेट्स से एक छोटा सा बच्चा आया, उसने इस डॉग को रिलीज कर दिया जिसकी वजह से इस डॉग ने आंटी को बाइट कर लिया. सो क्या यहाँ पे फिर भी ओनर की लाइबिलिटी बनेगी? नहीं बनेगी, बिकॉज देयर वाज एन एक्ट ऑफ अ थर्ड पार्टी व्हिच वाज इन्वॉल्वड इन इट, दैट इज द एक्ट ऑफ द चाइल्ड हु रिलीज दैट डॉग, राइट? नेक्स्ट, स्टैट्यूटरी अथॉरिटी. स्टैट्यूटरी अथॉरिटी का मतलब होता है अथॉरिटी provided by law, right? So यहाँ पे let's say this man, he had the authority to keep a dog with him, that too a very dangerous dog with him. Let's say किसी statute में लिखा हुआ है that people of certain rank are allowed to keep such a dog, right? तो क्या यहाँ पे एको sue किया जा सकता था? नहीं किया जा सकता था, right? Then next is absolute liability, and we are going to understand absolute liability. I hope सारे defenses clear हैं सबको. All the defenses are clear to you for strict liability. Now we are moving ahead to absolute liability. And absolute liability refers in which a person or entity is held accountable or responsible for the harm or the damage caused by dangerous activities, regardless of fault, intention, or precautions. The absolute liability is stricter form of liability than the strict liability, right? And there are no defenses present under the absolute liability, so the defendant cannot escape by proving that they were not negligent and that they took all the reasonable care. ठीक है? Now, अब एक केस था MC Mehta versus Union of India, right? Due to the catastrophic scale of the damage caused by the gas leak, the principle of absolute liability was considered. ठीक है, एक फैक्ट्री से एक हार्मफुल गैस लीक हुई जिसकी वजह से इंजरीज वर कॉज टू मैनी पीपल, राइट? तो तब ये कॉन्सेप्ट आया ऑफ एब्सोल्यूट लाइबिलिटी. क्या इन सच केसेस में यूनियन कार्बाइड फैक्ट्री वाज हेल्ड लायबल फॉर द डिजास्टर regardless of whether the company had followed the safety precautions or not, just because they were dealing with such harmful things, right? They will be held accountable, they will be held responsible without any defenses, no matter what. This is what absolute liability says. So elements क्या है? यहाँ पे कोई defense allowed नहीं होता. Secondly, ये कब apply होती है? When there is an escape of a harmful material, and there must be an escape of a harmful material substance from the defendant's premises that causes injury or harm or damage, right? So I hope सबको strict liability, absolute liability और vicarious liability का concept clear है, right? So with this I'll end the class here. अगर कोई भी doubt है, कोई भी confusion है, you can comment down in the comment section below, and in the next class we are going to solve some PYQs, right? So with this I'll end the class here. All right, bye bye, take care, see you in the next class.